Hey, how's it going? How you doing? Doing all right? Let's see, I'm doing the Mark Maron again. Sorry about that. Welcome back to another episode of Stumpy's Yoga Studio. I'm in the yoga studio today. It's a bloody mess because I had to work outside last weekend, so I kind of ignored how it looked in here. Although I got a little more space down here, which is nice. But going to move ahead with hopefully this weekend moving this car over to the extent that I can slip the stub frame, or subframe. You can say it both ways. Somebody corrected me and called it a stub frame, and I dig that because it's a stubby frame. But I Googled it, and I think we're both correct. So there you go. Anyway, I appreciate all the feedback. I've got a lot of good comments in the several forums that I've posted this in, and some in the YouTube forum. I appreciate everybody watching. I understand working on a 64 New Yorker is not everybody's cup of tea. And I appreciate it. I'm hoping I make it interesting. I want to do something like they do on those reality TV shows where we're going to have like a fake timeline, or we can talk about how much money it's potentially worth that no one ever proves that they got that kind of money for it. Not talk about anything in particular, history TV. But maybe that'll bring, the wives and their girlfriends around. I don't know. There's probably a reason why they do that. But we're going to do some other stuff on this. As soon as we're done quarantining and staying the hell away from each other, we are going to do some other car stuff. I have a long-term plan if this pans out I want to do go pick up a car and drive it home. One that has been sitting for a while, one of those things. Because it's always been one of my long-term goals is a fly-in, buy a car, fly in and drive it home. I think that's an adventure I'd like to do. And there's some other things I'd like to do. I don't know, I'm all over the place when it comes to cars. I like anything. I like anything anybody puts any thought into. Even I'm starting to like bolt on because I start to understand the appeal to it. Like I was talking about last week with Thelma. It's just so easy. Comparatively easy, I guess. It's not easy. And, a lot of self-tuning stuff with these O2 sensors and everything else makes it a lot simpler than it once was. But we are going to get into some other stuff. We are going to get into driving the TR6 around. It's not TR6 weather yet. We are going to do some stuff there. Every vehicle I own right now has an exhaust leak at the manifold. They just all do. I don't know why. So we'll go through fixing the exhaust leak at the manifold in the Triumph. Maybe Thelma. I think with Thelma, the issue might be with that one. We might have to plane the manifolds, but I hope not. So I want to fix those things. And I promise we won't work on the minivan. Well, I got to work on the minivan. But I promise you don't have to watch me work on the minivan because no one wants to see that. There's enough 2014 Caravan videos out there. You can watch those. And I'm not adding anything to that. I'm watching them too to figure out how to do this. I had to do oil filter adapter again this spring, and that wasn't fun. What else do I want to talk to you about? Yeah, we're going to do a little... So the dash, a couple episodes back, I did the stand for the dash, and the dash is downstairs. It's putting the dash in the house is kind of like putting a fish in a fish bowl. I wanted to see how long it would stay down there without my wife rejecting it from the basement. So now that it's been down for a couple of weeks and we understand that it's going to survive in the house, we can start doing some stuff with it. It's up on my table. I rearranged my entire maker table down in the back cave there. So the dash is sitting there. I want to get that switch working. So I want to be able to toggle. It's not hard. All the stuff is out there. I just have to sit down and do it. I think I have to use a couple resistors to do that. But my long-term plan, and this again, we're talking about being hunkered down, is on the convertible car because it's a better, it's not a convertible. I think I've told you this before. I cut the roof off of it in a desperate attempt to find rust-free roof rails, which didn't work out. Thank you, mice. But on that car, that's the most heavily optioned car in the fleet. And it has a speaker toggle at the bottom of the dash. And I remember seeing it, and I don't know how exactly it works. But I think I'm going to utilize that to switch between Bluetooth, FM radio, and the aux port, as my son would call it. The aux is have an aux dad. So I want a switch that'll work in that space. Now, I'm not saying the switch I'm working with now is going to work in, but since we don't have the actual switch that's there, it's on that car, and I have to take a look at it, then we're going to continue to work with the switches I got in hand. But I want to get that switching. I want to start getting that in there. And then we're gonna try to stuff all that stuff on the radio and see if we can run 12 volts to it. And then we gotta figure out how to consistently, cleanly drop it from 12 volts to 5 volts, because everything on that in that radio runs on 5. Sorry, the heater just kicked in. It's not a nice day here. I wish, if we're all gonna be stuck at home, I wish the weather would smarten up. We had a pretty good day last couple of days, just super windy, but we need the sun out. My wife runs on sunshine. I'm starting to figure out that I run on sunshine. And so being stuck inside or just having a cloudy day is not conducive to your mental health. I did buy beer and snacks. That's conducive to my mental health and meat. So pretty happy with that. But yeah, sit down, enjoy. You got 20 minutes or so of YouTube coming up. I hope you like and subscribe. I hope you subscribe and like and ring the bell. Do all the things you're supposed to do. But we're up to, as of this morning, we're up to 41 subscribers. I'd like to hit 100. I was trying to think of stuff I could give away. My wife told me you're not giving anything away. So that's something we got to figure out. Obviously, when we figure out who's working and when, then we can start looking at stuff like that. But maybe I'll give out a hug at the end of this, or maybe a visual hug. I don't know. But if you know somebody you think they like this content, please tell them about it. It's only going to get better and better. I'm starting to get more comfortable on camera. And yeah, anyway, stay tuned. Hey, so how's it going? Hey, so just working away here. The idea, here's the car. We want to swing the entire, well, you're not here helping me, and you don't want to be because you want us to hunker down. But me, the baby gorilla, I'm going to swing the car, and I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, so stay tuned. It could get exciting. Swing the entire car this way, and then push it back. The hope being, with enough room, we can start sliding the subframe in and out under the front end. The motor, of course, and the engine stand will go out of the way. Transmission will move out of the way. Recycling will move out of the way. And basically have enough room to kind of work with the front end of the car. Because right now, if I put the subframe in front of it, I won't be able to close the garage door and it gets cold. That might have not been a good shot, but I'm hoping not to move Sean's Sandblaster. Thanks, Sean. And I'm hoping not to move my charging station / gardening surprise stand. So that's the plan. So just working away, getting rid of my pile of stuff here. Cleaning up the garage as I go, boogieing as I go. Hope you're following me on Instagram. I did do some boogieing on Instagram. I think you should boogie too. And yeah, keep on going, man. Cool. So we're into Sunday now. And to clean up the garage, get the car moved over, keeps going. We got the bin system going now. Because I've had these bins and they've just become a catch-all for everything. And most things are labeled. Try to label things. I've learned the hard way you have to, because no one remembers how these cars go back together. But now I've got this for chassis and frame stuff, and plus door hinges, interior except dash, and then spare parts. These are just doubles of everything. I think this is going to be exterior chrome and door handles. So we're going to have everything stacked and put away now. And the Corvette's gone. So the idea is this whole car is going to shift over here. Measure my garage. I'm working with from here, from the garage door to the sandblasting cabinet is about 19 feet. The stub frame is 6 feet, and the body in the car is about 14 feet, I think, from the subframe, or from the firewall to the end. So I'm a foot short starting my life, but I don't think that's a big deal, because when the subframe is under the car, it's this much, right up to about here is taken up by the car. So 2 feet off the end of that, and then the whole thing can fit in the garage. It's just going to be when I'm fitting everything that I'll have to have the garage door open, and I don't know, hopefully spring will get here, because the hell, spring? It's bullshit. I'm stuck in here. lockdown and the weather sucks. So those are the hubcaps, probably gonna go in the car. You can see they're off the California car because they got the interior paint on them, but I think those go to a red, the interior slots. And yeah, so keep going at this. It's incredibly boring stuff, so it's not great footage, but we're getting down to getting this car moved over. Because what else can we do? The next step is to put the stuff frame back on. There's not much else we can do under the current conditions that we're under. So anyway, stay tuned. Hey, how's it going? So tonight we're gonna try to move this car over. We got a whole bunch of room over here now. It's still shitty weather outside, so we're gonna keep trying to do as much of this car in the garage as we possibly can. And I'm still hunkered down like you are. So there's only so much you can do. So I'm one person, large person, as you can see, but I'm going to try to move this car over by using leverage and devices. I don't know how that's going to go. So stick around. Shiny. This is pour 15. Feels like glass. I'm laying underneath the car because
I don't know. Seems like the right thing to do. If you look over here, the subframe's under the car. Not permanently, but it helped me move it. Now I don't have the rotisserie here anymore. It's difficult to move the car around. These are my Delco pleasurizers. Those are old stock. Got these off eBay. So you got the car moved over, and at the point where I guess I'm done. So I have put the subframe under it, and it fits pretty good. The front saddles are not matching up because I think it's got to come up a bit, but it's sat right into the back saddles. If you see here, nothing's bolted. Like, it's still got it painted, and I want to be able to pull it in and out. And that's why I needed to put it under, because I needed to roll with the engine hoist. I can only get so far back, and I had to pull the hoist out. And with the transmission jack and the regular jack and no engine hoist, I needed a way to wheel the other half. So it occurred to me, it came to me like a bolt of lightning, that I could put the subframe under it and then put the transmission jack and the regular jack underneath of it and roll the whole thing backwards. And it worked out. So I did that. I'm pretty happy with myself, because now we can roll the subframe out and roll it back in, and with the door shut, because spring is never coming. It's not coming. Stop planning things. Spring's not coming. We're not allowed outside, and when we are, it's snowing. So just know that. So given that, I now have enough room in front of it, car, to roll the subframe out and back. I know it's a disaster out here. Look how pretty that looks. So this is the front saddle here, and it doesn't sit up in there. Like, if I put the bolts in, bolts are up here. It would probably pull the whole thing up, but the front end's probably sitting down lower, and it has to be. So it would come up a bit, but look how pretty that is. Like that's very car-like. And it hasn't been car-like in a long time. It'll blow my kids' mind, because up until now, they've only thought this car was this long. Kept thinking the engine goes inside. So, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now, we got this space here, and we can roll the whole thing out, paint, put stuff in it, and then we can push it back under. Pull it out, push it back under, as we need to work with it. That was the idea here. I've got this disaster to clean up, but I've done what I've come to do. All by myself, might I add, because we're all hunkered down, all by ourselves. But I'm just gonna look at that. It's very pretty. Makes Angus very happy. There's the motor. There's the train. There's the frame. There's the car. Making Angus happy. It's a pretty good, like, I try not to complain, because, you know, most people do more with less garage, but, you know, you get a few things in here and it starts getting closed in pretty quickly. So you're always moving stuff around. I take the blasting cabinet apart, not from the wall, to get it back in there, because I just needed that extra, like, 18 inches. It seemed necessary, and I'm glad I did, because this way I can pull the subframe out without opening the door. So that's where we are now.
Stumpy's Tech Corner.
So just down in Stumpy's in the back cave here, and working on the radio again. Trying to. So as we talked about before, this is the Bluetooth module here, and this is the FM module there. And I'd like to add an aux module. Well, it's not even a module; it's just a port. And I've been working with this switch here, and I've been using the sketch. I wrote in a little bit of a test or an if statement to just, if it's 1, then it's the Bluetooth, and if it's 0, it's the FM. But I don't know if that's the way you do it, because it works, but it jumps around. It jumps back and forth. And then I'm trying to think, maybe, well, with the switch, I can also switch and then drop power to the module that's not running, and that might clean up the signal a bit and stop it from flipping back over. But I don't know. I think there's issues with the delays too, so gotta keep working at this. The other thing too is this. This is the speaker. So these cars, here's the dash. It's in my basement now. It's been here, like I said, it's been here for a while, so hopefully it'll stay down here. But I got it set up here on that board we did a few weeks ago, and right here is where the front speaker to go, and this is the sponge speaker grill. Kind of frame for it right here, so we just drop that. I think it's the other way. Drop that like that. Well, something like that. It'd sit in there. And then there's a grill that same color as this over here that would go in front of it. So there's 2 large 6x9s in the back of the car, right where you'd think they would be in the back window. If you grew up in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. And this was a 6x9 up here, so you'd have 3 speakers. On the cheaper versions, you'd have 1 speaker, and then I think on the convertible, there's a little switch on the bottom of the dash that controls the balance to the back speaker. Now, I can't get at that car right now, but I believe I saw that on there. And I'm thinking about having this switch live there so it look proper on the car. I don't like that as much because it takes some of the functionality off the radio and puts it on to the dash. But the other option is to use this outer ring here to switch between them, and that's not a switch, that's a rheostat. So I don't know, I'd have to do a lot of milling and design around that, and that seems like a lot of work. But anyway, get back to this. So what I want to do with this is I want to drop this into Adobe Illustrator and take a picture of it, drop it in Illustrator, and then make what they call a vector mask out of it. And then with a vector mask, what I can do is I can have basically this frame here. And what I want to do is eventually have 2 smaller speakers that live in here. And we're just going to design the same piece out of acrylic or something, and then cut it on a laser bed. And that's how I want to do that. But I tried working with that today, and I don't know. I got to get better at Illustrator. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you that it's kind of not a week of failure, but a week of not making a lot of process. Work has still been going on the last few days here, so as probably tomorrow is April 1st and not a work day so far. So gonna have some more time on the car stuff, but you know, it's not the best. But yeah, so this is the radio, and this is the idea here. We're going to use this switch maybe. That might change, but I kind of want to bring you down to Tech Corner because we haven't done a Tech Corner for a couple weeks, and the desk looks a lot, well, it was clean for a minute, and then now it's not again. So anyway,
Thanks for watching this week, and be nice to each other. Stay the hell away from each other. If you like what you see, like. If you really like it, subscribe. And if you really like it, share it with your friends. Tell them, hey, I've been watching Stumpy's thing. It's really great. So anyway, talk to you later.